Good morning, students. Please walk in, and on the board you're gonna see a couple of vocabulary words. I just want you to take a look at them and see if you can recognize some of these words. If not, there's a picture right next to them. Talk to your neighbor and discuss about the vocabulary words. And as we sit down, I'm gonna give you an explanation of what they are. And also, we're going to be reading this book, Help Me, Mr. Mutt, by Janet Stevens. So, what do you think this book is about? Please raise your hand. Why do you think the dog is holding the sign that says, Help me, Mr. Mudd? Does he look sad? What do you think he needs help? Okay. So, this book is about a dog expert. His name is Mr. Mudd. Every dog writes him letters about people problems, and he always has a solution to them. But Mr. Mudd has his own problem too. The cat, aka the queen. When they realize that he needs help, they all come to the rescue. So now that we know a little bit about this book, I'm not going to be talking to you about the genre of the book and also the author. The genre of the book is modern fantasy. You know, every week we discuss about different genres every week. Can someone tell me what genre we learned last week? Yes, good job, Luisa. It was picture books. Okay, so this week we will learn about modern fantasy. Modern fantasy supports children's understanding of themselves and struggles we all go through. Fantasy stories develop a good imagination for everyone. This book demonstrates a good idea of fantasy. It is something that you can imagine or you can also relate to. I will now talk to you about the author. The author of this book is Janet Stevens. Janet Stevens began drawing when she was a kid, just like all of you. Do you like writing or do you like drawing? Oh, that's great, Juan. I'm glad you do. Well, you never know. Maybe one day you will be reading books just like Janet Stevens. She has written plenty of books. She wrote this book with her sister, Susan Stevens Crumble. Janet has received many book awards for all of her books. Since we are reading a new book today, Help Me, Mr. Bud, you know all books come with new vocabulary words that we don't know. Before reading the book, I have looked for some vocabulary words that we might not know or we might not have studied before. This way, when I read the book to you, you will know the significance of the word. I will stop and ask you questions about the vocabulary words to see if you were paying attention. Here are the vocabulary words I will show you some pictures on a PowerPoint presentation so you can get it. Well, the pictures are already on the board. So now, when I read the book, I'm going to ask you if you recognize this word or not. And the few words that I was able to get are scrumptious. Does anybody know what scrumptious mean? No? Okay. Well, scrumptious is a food that is tasty and delicious. It can also mean a person very attractive. In this book, the word scrumptious means tasty. So you see that chocolate cake on the board, the picture? Okay, well that could be scrumptious. The other word that I found out was cantankerous. You know what cantankerous means? What is it? Okay, no, it has nothing to do with animals. Okay, so cantankerous means someone with a bad temperament, someone who is not cooperative. Someone here? No, right? Okay, and is very argumentative. Just like Grumpy from the movie Sleeping Beauty and the Seven Dwarfs. Yep, just like him. Do you see the picture on the board? Okay, just like Grumpy. The other word that I found out was very interesting that you might not have learned, or maybe you have, is the word outrageous. Does somebody know what outrageous means? Well, something that is very bold, unusual, and shockingly bad. So you see that hamburger? Yes, something like that. It's very different. And then the last word is preposterous, ridiculous, and very absurd. Now that you have a very understanding of the new vocabulary words, I want you to pay attention while I read the book. Watch to see if you can hear the vocabulary words that I have just showed you. Also, while I read, think about what you will do in that situation. Why do you think the dog needs help? And if you have any questions while I am reading, please raise your hand. Now let's read the book. Okay, so now that we have read the book, Help Me, Mr. Bud by Janet Stevens, I'm going to give you a brief summary of the book so you can get an idea what to do with our pets, how to take care of them, bathe them, feed them, and play with them. We have also learned that if someone needs an advice, we can give them to them. And if someone needs help, we can be there to help them, just like in the book with all the dogs and Mr. Mud. So now I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. How should you not play with your dog? Give me some examples. Okay. Susan, yes, please raise your hand. That's right. Yes, you should know you should not hit the dogs. Okay. What are some things that you can do with your dog? What do you think, Jose? Right, that's right. Taking them to the park. Okay. Now go on, Marco. Okay, playing catch or simply lay with them. Dogs love cuddling. Okay, so why should dogs be on a diet? Because they can get sick and then they would need to go to the vet. That's right. So now, turn and talk to your table partner about one fact from the book that you found most interesting and one fact that you would like to learn more about. So now, okay, after you have talked to your partner, please go pick up your journal. Okay. So now after you have picked up your journal, I'm going to give you 10 minutes and you're going to write sentences. If not sentences, just give me a summary of what you have learned in the book. With this, you will demonstrate that you have paid attention and I want you to tell me something that you have learned. Also, I'm going to be walking around to see you check for grammar and spelling. I also want you to use one of the vocabulary words we have used. And the vocabulary words are also on the board so you can get an idea how to spell them. If you have any questions, please ask me. So after you have done that, we're also going to make a graphic organizer. But I will give you a little bit more information after we've done this assignment, okay? Okay, so now that we have finished with the writing assignments, we're gonna do a graph. Does anybody know what a graph is? Okay, remember when I was reading the book, I stopped on some of the pages and I showed you some of the graphs that the books had. I want you to look closely at all the graphs that are in this book. You will pick one and make it your own. You get to decide what to write and how you would do it. Use your imagination. And I know you can do anything with favorite food, how many pens do you have, how many times do you go to the park a week, your favorite book, your favorite places to visit, your favorite colors, anything that you want to use. We're gonna make a graph and I'm gonna show you, walk around and explain to you how you can do it, and you can also get ideas from the book. Now, let's do the graphs and have fun.